everyone. First of all, I would just like to thank the organizers for inviting me. It's a great, privilege to be here. I'm not sure whether I'm the right person to talk about raptor techniques. Although in your workshop program it says raptor techniques, but I would like to also go a bit more into raptor migration, a bit more on the background. So the title of my presentation today is Raptor Migration. The view is not Photoshop, as kids were saying, but it's actually a view from the balcony of my house, and there's black bazaars. Okay. So, what actually is migration? As you can see from the explanation, there is the seasonal movement of animals. The key word is seasonal. That means every year at a fixed time of the year, there will be seen all these movements of animals from one area to another. So many animals migrate, but why do they migrate? In the case of raptors, it is mainly because of food. Many of the raptors that live in the north during the cold time of the year, a lack of food, their prey animals also move south, or some of the animals die off, or they hibernate. So because of the lack of food, raptors find it difficult to survive, and therefore they will have to move to warmer areas. In the strict sense of the word, there are about 55 species of raptors in Asia that are known to migrate, and as you can see, they include many different groups, many different families, ranging from different sizes, different ways of hunting, different habitats. You get the main migrants that are found in East Asia, the buzzards, the accipiters, falcons, harriers, osprey, eagles, and so on. The various groups are shown all here: osprey, accipiters, hammer falcon, and so on. So, as I've said, raptors migrate during the fixed season of the year, and we describe migration in terms of autumn migration, when they move from the north to the south, and spring migration on the return journey, when they move from the north, from the south back to the north. And in terms of where the birds are, migration may start as early as late August or early September, and they may continue on up to November. And for the return journey, spring migration, raptors will start to move possibly in February, and the migration may extend up to May. So the slide shows the general general understanding of the back and forth migration of birds of prey from breeding areas to wintering areas. Okay, the migration routes of many of the raptors are not well known. The slide shows the general understanding of the three main routes or the main flyways that raptors in East Asia move from their breeding areas down to wintering areas. So you get the on the Pacific, the oceanic Pacific route, which involves many islands. They basically island hop from islands to islands, Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, and so on. Further in, you have the coastal Pacific route, where they basically follow the coast, and then the inland, the eastern inland route, which is from Central Asia down to Indochina and south. This map shows a more detailed picture of the other routes that raptors are known to migrate. From the work of Francisco Jeremy and his team, they found that there are many other routes that cross the seas from Borneo to Indonesia, and possibly even from Vietnam to Peninsular Malaysia. So the thing is that there's still much to be discovered about the migration routes. So, how do raptors migrate? How do they manage to fly, all the way from East Asia to Indonesia to Southeast Asia? A journey which may total a few thousand, kilometers. Because of their size, many raptors they cannot use they cannot fly using their wings all the time, and they will always try to look for the nearest route to save energy. Generally, most raptors migrate during the day, although from telemetry work by the Japanese and also the Taiwanese, we know that some raptors do migrate during the night. For example, the Oriental honey buzzard, when they cross over from Japan to the China coast, they will have to cross the East China Sea, a distance of about 700 km, and which will involve many hours of flight, including at night. And migration is usually either from north to south or the reverse direction, depending on the season. And through their many generations of migrants, they have found and they have used the same route every year because it is safe, it is the shortest, and many of these raptors, they will migrate along what we call traditional routes. So I'll talk a bit more about these routes. And another important thing to note is, as I mentioned, many raptors will avoid long water crossings, things like open oceans, the seas, and big lakes. One of the main methods that raptors use to save energy is to use what we call thermals, which are rising columns of hot air, which occur when the earth gets heated up by the sun, and as can be seen in this graphic image, raptors will try to find a thermal, and as the hot air rises, they will ride the thermal without the need to flap. Thus, they save energy until the thermal is weak. As they go up, the thermal will get weaker and weaker because it's not so hot anymore. And then they will look for the next thermal. And how do they know where the next thermal is? They will look for their friends. If they see another bird, thermaling here, they will join this bird or this group. So this is one of the reasons why many of them, they move along in flocks, so that they know which is the route to take. Okay. Another way that they use to save energy when they migrate is to use what we call updrafts or uplifts. These will occur when there is wind that hits against a hill or mountain, or can also be some tall buildings, and they will just, when the wind gets pushed up, they will just ride on the wind. I think at Khao Din So, this is one of the ways that they pass through this area. I think that looks like a pied harrier, I think. Okay. I was mentioning just now about the traditional routes of migration, and how do they know? What are the characteristics that form these traditional routes? Usually, they will look for a range of hills where they know that there will be wind that blows against the side of the hills, or they will look for narrow necks of land that avoid the sea or the ocean or a big lake. So there are certain geographical characteristics as well as seasonal factors that make these routes attractive to migrating raptors. This is a view of my campsite in Scotts Hill Peninsula. We have this range of hills here, and the sea is about 20 km away, and this is the flat land. So the migration is from north down south. Okay, the next few slides I'll just show some examples of sites where raptors tend to migrate during, tend to concentrate during migration. Everybody knows about the Isthmus of Kra and Chumpon here. But if you look at the map of Southeast Asia, you can understand why the raptors choose to concentrate and come down the Isthmus of Kra, the neck here. You can see when the migration along the coastal Pacific route, they will start to go down, funnel down to Indochina and go down this neck here, so that they avoid flying across the sea to reach Indonesia. And the Malay Peninsula is the southernmost tip of mainland Asia. It is the tip of land that is the furthest south. So it's understandable why many of these birds funnel down here to Chumpon, the narrow neck of land. So this is an example of the geophysical features or geophysical characteristic of migration corridor. The Isthmus of Kra, very important site, land bridge between mainland Asia and Indonesia. The connection between breeding areas in the north and wintering areas in the south. Another example in Peninsula, most of the migrants will follow the west coast, because in the middle here there's a range of mountains very, very high. So instead of trying to cross over to this side, they will follow the route here. And if you look at the detailed map of the Taiping area, you can see the range of hills here. And the alignment of the hills is north-south. So the alignment is in, the alignment suits their direction, north to south. And because there is the sea here, so they just follow this flat land here. So another example of traditional route, narrow coastal plain between sea and mountain. Another feature that is often found along route where you have many migrants is a cape. And if you again look at the map of Southeast Asia, you find that the best way to get to all these islands is to jump from Peninsula to Sumatra, Java, and so on. And as I mentioned before, they will always try to find the shortest route to cross any lake or sea. And the closest route between Peninsular Malaysia and Sumatra is at this place called, is at a cape called Tanjung Tuan. And the next landmass in Sumatra is this big island, Rupat Island, which is where AARCN is actually doing autumn migration monitoring right now. And the distance is about 40 km. So they would rather not cross here, but instead cross here. We do not know. Some may actually cross here, but it is left for us to find out. But most of them will take this route, especially during the northward journey in spring, in February and March. So another example of geophysical feature, capes or promontories. Okay. So why do we want to count migrating raptors? I think Yamazaki-san and Dr. Keith has already mentioned about how this is a good way to monitor the populations of raptors. But why do we want to? Where is the easiest way? Where is the easiest place? And because they tend to flock during migration, the best place to monitor them when they tend to flock, because usually raptors, when they are not migrating, they tend not to flock. You can only see one or a pair of them. But during migration, they will flock. So the best place is to study them, to observe them, is when they migrate, and you can see large numbers of them at sites such as Chumpon, Tanjung Tuan, Kenting, and so on. Okay. Okay, I think quite a lot of us here already have some sites where they are doing monitoring. But for those who want to start to do observation of migration, or who already have sites but who want to find other sites, one of the best ways to look for new areas is to do literature search. Quite often you can find information about migrant raptors in reports, in journals, not about raptors but about other birds, or maybe about wildlife or about national parks. So this is a good way to get information about migration routes. And of course, another way is to ask the locals, because they have been there for many years. They look at wildlife, every day. Maybe they hunt them, or they catch them for food or to water it. So local information is also useful. Okay. You don't need many sophisticated equipment to start monitoring in the beginning. Basically, if you are a bird watcher, you would have most of this equipment, you will probably have your pair of binoculars, scopes, notebook, weather meter, because weather affects migration a lot. The number of birds, what time of the day they pass, what day of the month, all depends on the weather. Because as I said, they have to conserve energy in order to migrate, and if there's rain, there's a strong wind, it is risky to migrate. Compass, you need all these equipment which don't cost much, because you will need to collect data on weather, collect information on which direction they fly from, which direction they head to, and of course you want to count them, yeah, and watch the time. What time of the day do they pass? When is the peak time of migration for the day? And last but not least, raptor identification field guide. Okay. The next few slides just show some examples of the kind of binoculars or telescope. Binoculars, I guess, for raptor watching, you should try to get at least 10 times, because most raptors fly quite high. So you have a pair with eight times, you won't be able to see much detail. If you have a scope, that will be even much better. It's a bonus. You can cover a wider field over a longer distance. Basic field equipment. This is what the tele counter looks like for those who are not familiar. Compass, simple one, yeah, simple and cheap one. Weather meter, this is quite a basic one that only reads wind speed and temperature. You can have a more sophisticated one that also gives you the what do you call it, the atmospheric pressure. But as I said, if you want to start, you just start simple. Raptor identification guide, I think it is on sale. This one here, the book by ARCN, and then a data sheet. The data sheet comes in many forms. Depends on how much data you want to collect. It can be just a simple sheet with numbers, species, time. But here it has many things like cloud cover, and then humidity and so on. This is the ARCN data sheet. Okay, let's say you already have your binoculars and your counter and so on, and then how to find raptors in the sky? I mean, they tend to fly very high, and most of the time, without the use of binoculars, it would be impossible to find them. Imagine that you are on this hill here in Taiping, and you would have to have a general idea of where you think the raptors will be approaching from. If it is autumn migration, it will probably be coming from the north, somewhere on the north. It can be northeast, northwest, and so on, but generally from the north. Looking in the northerly direction, and with your binoculars, you try to cover as much of the view as you can. And one of the ways is, like it's shown in here, you just use your binoculars and you scan from right to left to cover one binocular field at a time. And then you move to the next binocular field and move up. You can also do this way, up and down, same way. If the raptors are going in this direction from right to left, it would be good to check from left and going backwards, so that you catch the raptors that may have already passed you. Because if you start from here, all this may have gone by the time your binoculars reach here. It says here, check base of clouds. Clouds are actually the physical form of thermals, and quite often you can find raptors will hang around at the base of clouds, because these are the clouds that are moving up. So if you can see one or two, quite likely you will find the rest of the flock. Or you can find more joining this one that is thermaling around here. Yes. And then I'll just go on to how to count raptors. There are two ways that you can count by individual birds, as they fly across, or you can estimate when they come in big flocks, what we call you count by aggregate technique. When raptors move in single file, it's quite easy and no problem. You just select a fixed point, say a tree or a mountain peak or a building, and as they pass your count point, you just click on your tally. So that's very easy. But what if you find a flock like this? It's just too many to count. So in this case, we use the aggregate technique. And the way to do it is to wait for them to break up and start to move. And once they start to move, you can count one by one if you are fast enough. They will usually, when they will start to move, because one bird will start to move first, and then the others will follow. So this is the time when you try to catch the birds as they move. But occasionally, for some birds like black bazaars, the whole flock will actually move as a flock. So in that case, you will have to quickly use the aggregate technique. Just to test you all, how many do you think this is? I give you up to the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I was saying, anybody want to try that just now? More than 100, more than 200, more than 200. It's actually 130. So as I was mentioning, aggregate technique to count flocks when they actually move as a flock. Sometimes they will move as a flock, and to do that you group them in groups of either 10, 20, depending on how big the flock is. If the flock is about 100, 200, you can use 10. If it is about 500, maybe use 20, 50, or even bigger, you use 100. So you quickly use your imagination and draw circles around them very quickly. And here you have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13 circles, and each circle is about 10 birds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roughly, so in the average, you find that you are within 10% accurate. So that flock just now was 130. Now I just go on to how to report your data so that it is useful to people who are interested, so that it is useful for you for your work. And there are many ways to put out your data. You can use tables, graphs, and you can report daily, monthly, seasonal, or summarize for your whole count period. This example is the daily count. So basically it was just a short count, just to catch a window of the migration that is passing through during this time. So you have your time here. So every time you see, every time you count data, every time you count raptor, you note down the time. And then here, short form Chinese sparrowhawk, Oriental honey buzzard, great-faced buzzard, Japanese baza, exhibitor. Any raptor that you are not sure of the species, you can include as exhibitor, or if it is a big raptor, you put as raptor. And then these are notes that you can put in on the weather, some unusual behavior that you saw, yeah. And if you can identify the gender of the bird, is even better. RBE is rufous-bellied beagle. Sorry. This is the count for one season in Tanjung Tuan. Here you have the dates, you have the total for each day. Total for each day, this is the 3rd of March, 4th of March, and so on. And the total raptor species. And at the column here, the total raptors for the whole day, all the species. And then at the end, at the bottom column, the total for each species. So for Oriental honey buzzard from 3rd to 18 March, 24,000. All right. An example of how you can show your data in the form of graphs. This one compares the arrival time for 2 years in Tanjung Tuan. When is the best time to wait for Oriental for raptors to arrive at Tanjung Tuan? And from here we can see that it is between 11 in the morning to 1. You have the peak here. During that 1 hour, 8,000 over birds. So another way to show your data. And another use for raptor migration, as mentioned by Mr. Chukiet and others, is to use the event, use the site as an education site. No? And there are many already sites already established, such as in Kenting, where they have guides to take the people around to explain to them about migration and show them the various raptors. Chumpon, which is doing very, very good work. Tanjung Tuan, we try to do our own part too, and in Indonesia at Puncak Pass. So concentrations of raptors are very good for educating the public as well as young children. Just briefly, just to say, if you're interested to organize a Raptor Watch event in your site, the advice is to choose a site where you can see regular passage of large numbers, and also it should be easily accessed by the public. We don't want somewhere where in a mountain where you take days to go and trek to get to the point, and preferably close to big population centers such as towns and cities. And when you start, always start small. Just invite your family and your friends just to test out, see whether it will work or not, and then see how the response is like from the locals, from business people, from government, whether they like the idea, they will support the idea or not. And with that, with this view of our Raptor Watch event in Tanjung Tuan, which we have held since 1999, I think. I close this presentation with my thanks to ARCN, Thai Raptor Group and the organizers, and also my group, Raptor Study Group, MNS. Thank you.